Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I got my K-swapped Integra in the garage, and we're going to do a little bit of checkups on it and put a Hunter tuned fuel rail on this car. So haven't really driven the car a whole lot lately. The last time I took it out, we actually went to a little meetup spot. I might insert some clips of racing a LS7 Corvette in this car. Today we're going to take the Integra out, or I should say tonight. We're taking the Integra out to a little meetup spot, and we're going to see if we can get some runs in with a couple cool cars. Normally really don't go out, you know, hitting the streets, as they say. I used to a lot, but I don't as much anymore, mainly because the scene has kind of died around here, or it did die. And I think it's kind of making a little bit of a comeback now. So maybe we can get out doing more, but it's like probably one of the last nice weekends that we're gonna have here in Wisconsin till next year. So it is getting really cold up here, but today was really nice, and this weekend's supposed to be really nice. So I figured, let's go have some fun and take the Integra out for a little rip. I do have the Hunter Tune 1500cc injectors in this thing. I just put a little bit more E85 in it. I think currently it's tuned on 13 or 14 pounds of boost in 4th and 5th gear, and 3rd gear I'm running like 10 pounds, and 2nd gear I'm running 7. So we're gonna see how it does. We'll probably do a couple little pulls to make sure it's good before we get there, and then yeah, we'll see what's up there when we get there and see if there's any cars that are you know, about the same kind of caliber that we can go up against. The last time I ran this car was at the racetrack with the slicks on it. I only have Toyo R888s on the car right now, but I did fix my boost issue. My line going to the top of the wastegate actually melted on my heater core hose. So I replaced the top wastegate line, and I put a 90 off of it, so it's no longer hitting the heater core line. And it's been great ever since then. So now we're able to actually hit more than like 9 pounds or whatever it was at the track. We're actually able to run, you know, 14, 15. This thing makes north of 500 horsepower. So I think I'm going to keep it around there. I don't want to try to get too greedy because this car runs and drives flawless, and I really like how the car's performing, and I don't really want to break it.
No, you can. Basil said you cannot. Basil said that's like impossible.
LS7 with a cam and exhaust and a tune. Looks like it's got a fast intake, K&N cold air. LS7. These things are no joke. But it was a really close race.
1, 2, 3.
We'll walk around the parking lot, see what else is here. Tuned this one a while ago, if you guys remember seeing this. I think this car had the issue where the block was broken. He might have changed it since then. A little Subaru, Ferrari, Supra, little Prelude. This thing's super clean. Really nice looking Prelude. Wonder if it's got a turbo. I don't think so. Supra. So after heading to the bakery with my Integra, really close race with this Vette. I have way more respect for like Corvettes and stuff in general, especially like roll racing and on the highway, because those cars are just animals. And especially when they are built up LS7, that naturally aspirated V8 LS and that Corvette was flying. My Integra's no slouch, and this car was like, we were neck and neck. But the funny thing is like he shifted one time in the time I grabbed 3 gears. I think I started in 4th and I was in 6th. 6th gear in my Integra. I mean, we were, you know, we were up there. But it's still crazy. Like, I think he was in maybe 3rd or 4th gear, and the car had still probably 2 more gears to go. And my car was literally like damn near completely topped out. But this is why I don't really street race, because this shit's dumb. You know, the adrenaline gets going, and then, you know, it's game over. All you see is the car's bumper, and you're right on it. You gotta, you know, you just keep her pinned. But anyways, after the highway runs that we were doing, we actually went to a little spot around where I'm at, and we found a little dig spot where my buddy Guile actually took his sedan. I've had a few I think I've had his car on the channel a couple times. Might make a dedicated video on it if you guys want to see more of it. But his B series car, it's a sedan, an EK sedan, and we just took it out to a little spot to test out the slicks. Roxy, be quiet. We tested out the slicks, and we wanted to just make some street hits because we were bored and there was nobody out. And it was an awesome night that we all got to do hanging out together. So be sure to go check his YouTube channel out too, Team Defiant Automotive. I'll leave the link down in the description. You guys can go check out his build and a couple other builds that he's been doing. I guess this is their dig spot. Pretty decent road. Wish I had more of a street rear-wheel drive setup that I'd come out here and run with. Maybe sometime soon. Guile's gonna make a test hit on the street. I'm gonna get him some water here. Yeah, just making the concrete grow.
It's gonna be nice and clean.
Stop. I don't want you to roll back in the water.
Yep.
Keep coming back. I made that mistake on my first test pass on the street.
Well, it's pretty straight though.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you could hit it probably from here. Man, that fucker's barking. Shoo! They just sound so angry.
I'll delete that one.
Yeah. Live at 5. Well, Guile blew his return line off on that test hit, so we're trying to get it back on, but top mounts are a little tricky.
A little tight in there for sure.
Here, look how tight that is. We noticed the car was smoking a little bit on that last pass, and yeah, the return line fell off of the turbo for some reason. All the vibration, I'm shitting sure.
Probably. couldn't handle the horsepower.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how we're going to get that in.
I siphon some oil out of your car.
Okay.
I wonder if there's a way that you can just like get the hose slipped over and get a hose clamp or something.
I don't think I have a hose clamp, but that should work.
Because I don't think you're going to be able to tighten that fitting.
Not without popping
the turbo off.
Yeah, popping the turbo off. Because that's how I installed it. Was the line was already on there.
Yeah. Jesus. Wow. That was a pretty good hit. So since the last time I really drove this car real hard was out street racing that one night, I have driven it, you know, around town and to go to the shop and stuff like that. Doing some highway pulls, getting on the on-ramp and all that kind of stuff. And the car's been doing flawless. It drives, honestly, like amazing. Air fuel on the highway. I don't think I've ever had a car with a more steady air fuel. I think it's just the nature of these K-Series motors. They just run so good and so smooth. I have fallen in love, to say the least, with the K. And the turbo response and the overall power this thing can make on a bone stock engine just blows my mind. So I've got a few thousand miles on the setup now. You know, you guys should know that we put this thing together in the driveway here at my house to kind of help relate to you guys. We did the 1320 Sidewinder with a VS Racing 6262, and then Hunter tuned 1500s are the injectors I have in now. Previously, the last time we had the car on the dyno, we had the flex fuel decapped injectors in here, and we ran out of fuel at about 500 horsepower. So I installed the 1500s after that video that I made, and it's been running on those for the last couple months, problem free, and just honestly flawless. It's been awesome. So I do want to get this car back to the dyno very soon and see if we can crack 600 horsepower on this little stock K24. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see that video, guys. I think it'd be a cool little test, and you know, see if this little K24 will hold up to 600 horsepower. Little things I've done recently is I did install some new radiator hoses on the car. These are just little, they're just Amazon radiator hoses for a K-swap. They don't really fit the best, but I had to cut them and modify them a little bit to get them to fit. And I also installed a swivel neck thermostat housing. I don't even know if you get, there you go, now you can see it. So the car finally has a thermostat in it, and I got my temperatures right around 180, cruising around and driving and stuff like that, so that is awesome. Initially, when I put that Amazon thermostat in there, it didn't want to bleed. It didn't want to pop the thermostat, and it would boil, you know, 210, 220, and it still wouldn't pop the thermostat. So what I did is I drilled 2 little holes in the thermostat to help get some coolant around the thermostat to get it to pop easier. And since I did that and took the car for a couple beat runs, the thermostat opens and everything's working great. Hot heat, 190 degree, 80 degree temps, and yeah, awesome. It beats the 140 degree temps I was having with no thermostat at all. So I'm very excited about that. But let's get to it. I'm gonna take these injectors and fuel rail off of this thing, and we're going to be installing a new Hunter tuned fuel rail, and I'm going to change out this pressure gauge to a new one that I got, just a cheap one off Amazon. I like the way it looks better than this one. I think this is like an air pressure gauge or something that I got from Menards. Without further ado, 2 12mm bolts, 6 AN feed line here, 6 AN return off the regulator, and we should be able to pop this thing out. And then I'm going to throw the injectors in the machine. I want to do a checkup on them because I don't really drive this car a whole lot. You know, maybe once a week or something like that. And the rest of the time it sits out in the cold Wisconsin air outside of my house. I should be keeping it in the garage, I know. But it sits outside, a ton of, you know, E85 is the only thing this car ever sees. So I want to see how the injectors have been holding up sitting out in the cold with E85 in them non-stop. I want to see how close they are, because these injectors are actually the first batch that I got of the Hunter Tune injectors. and they, you know, were doing good. And then I ordered production orders after that. So these ones are like OG, real old 1500s, and if these ones have been holding up, the rest of the production should be doing great. All right, so I got the rail and the injectors out. One thing that has been bugging me on this car is like all the intake manifold and stuff like that has a ton of overspray on it still from the first guy that attempted to paint my car, and then I ended up painting it with a buddy down the street instead. You know, sometimes it just pays to do the stuff yourself instead of relying on others. Because now I still have a lot of cleanup work to do with this car, engine bay, and just like a lot of stuff because there's still paint and overspray everywhere from the first guy. So yeah, so that stuff's been kind of driving me nuts, but hopefully I'll be able to clean this thing up soon, and I'll have some more time to put into it. And these are the OG Hunter Tune 1500s that I got on my first batch. There's actually no part number on them or anything because these were meant to be a sample or a test batch. The ones that you guys get actually have Bosch part numbers on them and stuff. But to save on time and stuff, we just, you know, these are the test ones. So I'm going to see how close they are now after about, I don't know, probably 4, 5, 6 months. I don't even know how long I've had them in there. Quite some time now. So yeah, let's take a look at the fuel rail. So this is the current fuel rail that was on the car. I'm just going to take the fittings out on both sides and the regulator, and then we'll compare it to the new Hunter Tune fuel rail. Alright guys, it's the next day. I actually went to my shop and I grabbed a couple fittings I need for the new Hunter Tune fuel rail. So I got my injectors installed into the Hunter Tune fuel rail. This is the old one. I don't know what brand this one is, but it's fairly similar. It's just, I mean, I guess it's not really similar. This one is a lot bulkier here. This one's a lot shorter this way. And this one uses like an 8AN, I think, orb fitting, where my fuel rails take a 6AN orb. So we got to thread a 6AN into here, so we can adapt to our fuel pressure regulator, which is right there. So we'll mount that right there. And I did throw a new set of injectors in just because I want to test some of the new batches as well into my car. The old ones did test good. They were varying about 5%. I put them in the tester, in my new tester, and they were varying a little bit. Not bad. But when I initially did those injectors, I used my old machine, and I have done testing actually back to back with my old machine using mineral spirits and my new machine using the actual calibration fluid, and there is a little bit of a difference. They were perfect in that tester, but in this tester they had a slight bit of variance. So I've always been using this new tester on all the stuff I've been sending out to customers. And yeah, so that's awesome. I got these matched up. These are all within like 1 or 2%, and we're gonna throw them in. So these are the fittings that I had to go get. They're just 6AN on both sides. One side is an orb, which you seal off with an O-ring or a washer. So these fuel rail kits come with washers to seal it, or you can use a little bit of RTV or something on the threads and an O-ring. Either way should work good. Now, I am actually working on getting more fittings like these. You know, 6AN to 6AN, so you can go right into the rail. 6 to 8s, 6 to 10s, all that kind of stuff I should have on my site hopefully soon. I'm still doing inventory on a lot of the AN line that I'm going to add to the website. I got 6, 8, 10, 12, and 16 AN line that I'm working on still. But the injector stuff has just been crazy, so I've been busy enough with that where I haven't had a whole lot of time to dive into the other stuff quite yet. But the fuel rails are looking awesome, guys, and I just restocked a ton of these. So I have tote for D series rails, K series, and B series, and they're all available on huntertune.com now. I still have to do some updates with the pictures and stuff that I have listed, but for the most part, you can go buy one right now. So yeah, let's get this puppy bolted onto the motor and see how she looks. Alright guys, so I got it installed, or got the injectors pushed into the manifold down there. Looking snazzy. Cool thing about a K-Series is the injectors don't require any sort of adapter. They just plug right in and seal up real good. So now I'm gonna get my spacing for here figured out, which it should be pretty much the same as the last one. Might have to stack a washer or two under here so we can get the bolt spacing right. And then once we get the bolts in, we'll get the fittings installed on the outside and plug it all in, get my new gauge installed, and we'll be all set. So I got the one side's fitting installed. Now I'm gonna put the other side on. I just put a little dab of RTV on the threads, and then the O-ring on the face of the nut. So we're gonna get that threaded in. Make sure our O-ring doesn't squish out. I'm just feeling on the bottom to make sure the O-ring didn't squish out. Nice and tight. Clean up any of the excess RTV. And that stuff's not coming in direct contact with fuel, so it should be fine. I do this on pretty much all these fittings. But the tapered end going to the actual fitting doesn't need any sealant. This is just a face fit. Gotta make sure that that's not gonna touch the throttle here. Might have to clock it down a little bit. There we go. I might invest in some custom Hunter-tuned AN wrenches if you guys are interested too. Should leave it down in the comments. That way it doesn't scratch up your fitting or whatever. I've never used them because I don't really care, but some people do. All right, so now we're gonna get the regulator threaded on, and I'll show you when we're finished up. There we go. I got my plug here on the bottom installed. I got the plug for the center feed plugged off because we're using side feed on this one. Got my gauge installed. Now, well, it's time to fire it up and check for leaks. There we go, guys, back in business. Little squealy belt deal. It always does that. Yeah, let it run, and once the weather clears up, I'll love to take it back out for another drive and take it to the shop. See if we can make 600 horsepower. I think that's a pretty good goal. And I don't know what else we should do with the Integra, guys. Let me know. I know everybody wants me to go all-wheel drive, but I kind of want to keep this one with full exhaust and, you know, just keep it a street car. My hatch, maybe all-wheel drive. I don't know. We'll see. I also might have just picked up another one, so I don't know what I'm doing yet. Side note, if anybody has this windshield wiper cover piece and they want to sell it, email me at huntertuned@gmail.com. I'm looking for one. Mine broke when we painted the car, and yeah, just looking to get a replacement. So anyways, have a great night and a better tomorrow, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and the badass Hunter-tuned fuel rails. on the website now. Go check them out. Have a great night, a better tomorrow, guys. God bless.